Nautolans are one of the fantastic species that are a part of Star Wars lore. In this video, I'll be going over what traits make them unique and how you can incorporate them into creating your own Nautolan character backstory or roleplay character background. Nautolans are most well known for their unique head tentacles and excellent swimming skills. With thousands of planets and cultures existing in the known galaxy, a Nautolan character will have traits that are a mix of their biological features and cultural features that are inherent to the planet they are raised on. A Nautolan born on Alderaan will be far different than one born on Dromund Kaas. But if you want to make a canon Nautolan, follow these steps. First off, their head tails are called tentacles or tendrils. They allow Nautolans to sense the presence of certain pheromones and to sense the emotional state of other beings. This ability works strongest underwater. Nautolan moods often reflect the moods of those nearby due to those pheromone-sensing tendrils. Nautolans are often happy and free-spirited, particularly when given an opportunity to pursue their interests. However, when confronted with anger or despair, empathetic Nautolans are prone to respond in kind. Nautolans are most at home underwater and are extremely strong swimmers, but experience no difficulties on land. They can breathe underwater and have excellent low-light vision. Nautolans are born from eggs and start off as tadpoles. Young Nautolans remain in aquatic environments for much of their childhood as they develop strong limbs and head tails. The Nautolan homeworld is Glee and Selm, an aquatic planet where only a handful of outsiders have ever visited. Nautolans have a reputation for being both smart and practical. With the arrival of the Empire, the Nautolans fought alongside the Republic as soldiers and Jedi. The Nautolans' native language is Nautola, which was originally created for underwater use. Above water, the language is largely unpronounceable, as it is dependent upon pheromones that are dispersed through the water with spoken words. Most Nautolans have learned to speak basic or other common languages like Hadese above land. There doesn't seem to be a canon naming pattern for Nautolans, and both male and female Nautolan have either one or two syllable first names, with last names being optional. Don't forget, you can now name your Nautolan in the Old Republic with a space in their name, so you can give them both a first name and last name in addition to your legacy name. Nautolans use apostrophes in their names, but almost never use dashes. Here's some existing Nautolan names for female Nautolans: Veroa Dens, Liha Nerez, Dasa, Dallas Stark, and Claria. For male existing Nautolans, there's Kit Fisto, Bengal Moore, Auric Tralis, Chopper, Fong Do, Nox, Zat, Duwan, Namua, Ojo, Zintoa, Panil Vun, and Ranos Yali. I've also got a list of over 250 existing and fictional Nautolan names you can take a look into. Check the description of this video for a link. Now let's talk a little bit about role-playing as a Nautolan character. Your tendrils are going to be an essential part of your senses, even more so than your eyes and ears when interacting with other sentient species, and you can sense their mood and temper even if they aren't displaying it openly. You will likely have a strong affinity for water, and likely spent much of your childhood in it as a growing tadpole. You are either allied with the Republic or betraying your own people with the Empire. Here's the Old Republic Codex for Nautolan. Amphibious humanoids from the planet Glianselm, Nautolans are distinguished by their tentacle-like head tresses. Because of its primarily aquatic surface and its location off the major hyperlanes, only a handful of outsiders have ever visited Glianselm. As a result, little is known about Nautolan culture on their homeworld, though extrapolations can be made from those individuals who venture out into the greater galaxy. Despite their aquatic origins, Nautolans can breathe the air and are completely at home on land, and they can even be found in a wide variety of professions. They have a reputation for being both smart and practical, and the existence of several Nautolan Jedi speaks to an affinity with the Force. With the arrival of the Empire, the Nautolans fought alongside the Republic, although some among them fear this will lead to unnecessary suffering for their people. Now that we know the traits that all Nautolans share, let's talk about what makes your Nautolan character unique. In Star Wars The Old Republic, although your character in-game follows the set storylines the writers have created, many players enjoy creating custom backgrounds, histories, and personalities that exist outside of the game's pre-scripted cutscenes. When creating a backstory for your Nautolan, you can choose to either embrace the known Nautolan lore, or, of course, you're free to create a character whose race is fairly insignificant when it comes to shaping who they are. Nautolans, however, have some very interesting traits that players can use to shape a unique character while embracing the various pieces of Star Wars lore that have been created over the years for Nautolans. When Nautolans are born from eggs, they emerge as tadpoles, and due to their young, weak limbs, they live in water for a large part of their youth, an experience that many other species will never have. For your custom Nautolan, you can choose to create a basis of their life around their biological needs. Maybe you were born on a water planet and lived most of your life underwater before venturing out into the greater galaxy. You grew up on the Nautolan homeworld of Glee and Selm, or another water planet like Manan, Camino, Dak, the homeworld of the Mon Calamari, Ando, the homeworld of the Aqualish, Tion, a uniquely old Republic water world, or the water moon of Doruma. But you don't have to have come from a water world. Maybe you were born on the lush lands of Alderaan. You were raised in the freshwater rivers and lakes instead of a traditional water world. Maybe you were born as a slave on Droman Kos, and were taken as a tadpole by a Sith alchemist who wished to see if a perfect servant could be created from a trapped Nautolan child. Instead of being raised in wide open lakes or oceans, you were raised in a small vat of water barely larger than your body. Perhaps the water was infused with force crystals, or you were exposed to powerful toxins over time. On the brighter side of things, maybe you were born in the underworlds of Coruscant. Your parents were unable to give you a full aquatic experience your growing body needed, so they compromised by setting you free in the vast, free-built waterworks of Coruscant's infrastructure. Once you've decided where you were born and where you came from, you can start thinking about how your Nautolans use their pheromone-sensing tendrils. We talked a bit about how Nautolans' headtails are unique pheromone and odor-sensing organs, which even the average Nautolan can use to sense the mood of sentience around them. Although this makes them excellent at judging how those around them feel, they are also susceptible to empathetically taking on the moods of others. This unique trait can be used either subtly while roleplaying, or work directly into the narrative of a Nautolan's life. Maybe you're a Jedi Consular, and you help console those who have been through trauma. Your empathetic abilities allow you to truly connect with the feelings of your patients, and your Jedi training allows you to suppress the echoed feelings in yourself. Maybe as a smuggler, you're often hot-headed and rash, but when it comes to working out a deal, you've always got the upper hand. By sensing the mood of your client, you know exactly when to ask for a few more credits, and when it's best to walk away from a deal that looks too good. Maybe as a droid mechanic, you feel most at home with the droids you build in service. You never have to deal with their constant, unwanted feelings being thrown at you. Maybe as a Sith warrior, rather than trying to block emotions like the Jedi, you use your empathetic abilities to feed off of the dark side emotions you produce in others. Never want to find a diplomatic solution, you will always try and push your opponent into fear, anger, and hatred. Maybe as an Imperial agent, your strict self-training has allowed you to hone your empathetic traits to a fine edge. You are the perfect spy, especially among Jedi, as they never expect that you are faking your emotions. The only trick is that you always need to stay with those exuding genuine emotions. Perhaps you sneak into the Republic with refugees experiencing genuine fear or hopelessness. And maybe as a diplomat of the Republic, your empathy-sensing skills make you a fantastic negotiator and sympathizer. You are the first sent to speak with those who have experienced tragedy. Your weakness is that you can't always control your emotions. Often you pick up the moods of those you are supposed to be speaking with, becoming angry with those who are angry when you are supposed to be calming a situation, or sharing joy and mirth with someone you are supposed to be hardline negotiating with. And lastly, let's talk about the Nautolans' Aquatic Persuasion. Although Nautolans experience no difficulties on land, they are most at home underwater. Not only are they strong swimmers with excellent low-light vision, their empathetic and communication abilities are strongest below the surface. Within Nautolan culture, the ability to sense pheromone changes is an essential part of the communication, and their tendril senses work best underwater. When you bring these aquatic strengths into your character, it might look like this. Maybe with your empathy skills strongest under the waves, you're often sent as a diplomat or negotiator on water worlds like Manan and Naboo. You often invite your party to convene in traditional settings underwater, rather than in dry spaces, to take advantage of your natural edge. Maybe your strong swimming skills are one of your biggest assets, and you use them either in commando underwater missions, or guerrilla engagements through swamps and rivers. Maybe many artifacts are no longer on dry land, and their delicate details would be ruined by droids or clumsy atmospheric diving suits. You swim the sunken depths seeking relics and crystals either for profit or knowledge. And maybe you follow closely to the little bit of lore about Nautolans that is directly in the Old Republic. Ginks, a relatively harmless, curious amphibian creature, are a banned pet on Glen Selm, but are highly sought after by celebrities and musicians. You can't bring them in through traditional means, so you use your strong swimming abilities to land in remote places and find your way to your clients without technology. I hope going over all these Nautolan traits and all these Nautolan ideas helps you flesh out your new Nautolan character's backstory. I would really love to hear a short summary of what you decide to do with your Nautolan in the comments below. If you want to show your support for this series, or to have similar Star Wars The Old Republic videos show up on your YouTube homepage, subscribe to this channel. And as always, may the roleplay be with you.